So, um, so, the Xbox kind of sucks. Shit! It's gonna be very hard to record this video because first off, Charlie does not like people bad-mouthing the Xbox. Yeah, right back at you, cunt. But also, it's not gonna be that easy because Colteastwood is quite an influential YouTuber. Colteastwood is a part of, oddly enough, a cult. Which is why we should call him Colt Eastwood instead of Colt Eastwood.
This isn't funny!
He's one of those Xbox fanboys in denial. In denial of the fact that Xbox failed. They failed this generation. They got no games. Microsoft supports the PC way more. They let their competitors basically bitch slap them and humiliate them, and they've caused millions of Xbox gamers to leave. The value of this product is very low, very, very low. Then again, I personally don't find value in consoles, but that's something else. If we're to put value towards the three consoles, the Switch, the PS4, and the Xbox has literally nothing going for it. Nothing. And this is a sad reality that Xbox fanboys like Colteastwood seem to deny. So invested he is, so invested in Microsoft's success that he blinds himself. The guy takes a knife and just gouges his eyes out so that he doesn't see the failure of the Xbox. That way he can just imagine and just picture this wonderful world where everything Xbox does is good. But that's not the real world, my friend. Sadly, the real world is whatever first-party games Microsoft has pushed out have been pretty lackluster or underwhelming. And I don't blame you for crying yourself to sleep. When you've become a channel dedicated to worshiping Microsoft, everything about them has to be good. Everything. You have to feed propaganda to your audience and come out on top, not looking like an imbecile. But that's very hard for Colteastwood to do, who isn't factual. Colteastwood isn't factual. He speaks well, he has a script, he does a better job than most Xbox fanboys do, but at the end of the day, what he says still isn't factual, and he still doesn't provide any kind of evidence to back up what he says. This is the guy that still thinks the Xbox One X is high-end on the PC hardware spectrum. This is the guy that when he tried building a PC to match the value of the Xbox, he put in a Blu-ray drive and a network card to artificially boost its price. Like I said, he's an Xbox propagandist. Microsoft, but more importantly the Xbox brand, they don't got a lot going on. Exclusives are a thing of the past for the Xbox brand. Whatever game comes out on the Xbox now comes out on the PC. So then the narrative from them had to shift to exclusives don't matter. It doesn't matter if these games aren't exclusive, we'll still enjoy them. Okay, that's fine. But now these first-party games that Microsoft is pushing out, they're not very good. They're downright mediocre or awful at best. And Colteastwood won't have any of that. No, you see, according to people like him and Crap Gamer, there's a bias, a media bias against the Xbox. Now the reviewers don't matter, and the sales don't matter, which were things that Colteastwood did nothing but brag about. He bragged about sales figures and numbers. He would talk about how 70% isn't a bad score, which it isn't, but now when games he wants to have higher scores don't get those higher scores, now its scores don't matter. So I bring your attention to this video.
The gaming industry has become a multi-billion-dollar enterprise, with some game launches bigger and more profitable than some of the biggest and brightest blockbuster movies.
Well, not for Xbox anyway.
There are over 500 million gamers on mainstream console and PC logging in countless hours in their favorite games. If you're a video game developer or publisher, bringing these interactive blockbusters to the gamers' homes is a risky business venture that hinges on two major factors, and that is all about to change.
No offense, Colt. Actually, no. Full offense. You're pretty retarded. But after watching this video, I don't think developers and companies are ever going to come to you for advice. Just saying.
This is Colteastwood.
Yes, he's one of those YouTubers. The lazy type that just use gameplay in the background and talk. Doesn't even bother to transition or show anything. Yes, he's that lazy. He's one of those type.
I'm in the middle of 2 critically panned games and another on deck to purchase, and the industry professionals are telling me that I'm not supposed to like them or spend my hard-earned money on them. We're going to talk about what those 2 factors are and how they almost outright discourage us to buy or play these games.
If that is what you get out of a review, you're reading a review wrong. Reviews aren't there to tell you you're not supposed to like a game. Reviews are there to simply influence the customer on whether this is worth their money or not. What's going on right here, and the vibe I'm getting, is that you're defensive. You're defensive because you put so much hype into Crackdown 3, you were gonna blow your load all over it. But now it's coming into light that, hey, maybe the game's not that great. And now you're defensive. You're being a crybaby about it. You are creating excuses for a company that's not even paying you to do so. You are searching for a reason to devalue the review scores and the critics because you don't like what they said. But I bet you anything, Colt, I bet you anything, had those reviews been positive and praising the game, you would not be making this video. You would not be questioning them. Let's be real.
If you want to support the channel, hit the subscribe button and the bell to join the channel and the discussion we have here weekly. Hit the like button if you're interested in this topic, and let's get right into it.
To all the people out there that have subscribed to Colteastwood, I was originally going to ask you why you do, but the answer's all but obvious. You're all Xbox fanboys, seeking confirmation bias. You want someone who's got a pro Xbox narrative. I mean, Charlie over here is subscribed to Crap Gamer, Kid Smooth, and of course, Colteastwood. I fucking feed you. You should be supporting my ass. Anyways, if you're subscribed to these guys, hopefully my video at least sheds some light. But then again, Xbox fanboys are the hardest ones to get through.
I recently got an insight into the games review industry by receiving a review code for Crackdown 3 several days before the game released to the rest of the public.
I mean, if you're Microsoft, I can clearly see why you would send Colteastwood a review copy of anything. He'll give it at least 5 points more than it's worth. No, seriously, he will do that.
I had the pleasure of playing the game on my own merits without any outside influences, no review scores, no sales figures or opinions from peers or detractors.
You will spin things negatively in any way you can to make me look bad, and I'm tired of it. You're a moron, all right? Publicly, I'm expressing this. You are stupid, all right?
You see, the thing about you, Colt, is you're a walking contradiction. There will be videos where you say one thing, and then months later you'll say something else, and you just expose yourself. You shift the narrative when you want to. Rules that you put on others don't apply to yourself. Your inconsistency is just unreal. I mean, here's a video of you yourself taking into account Metacritic scores and actually caring for them when it seems to matter to you.
If you haven't, I'd suggest watching my review of Crackdown 3.
Don't watch that review. That was a garbage review, and Colteastwood is he's a god-awful reviewer. He can't set his bias aside for a single second. But basically, he gives the game a 7.5.
I gave the game a decently high score, and mostly because of my enjoyment and quantified fun that pushed that score up about 5 points out of 100.
What's that, Colt? What's that? You gave Crackdown 3 a decently high score? Why am I not surprised, huh? I couldn't imagine why the Pro Xbox channel would give Crackdown 3 a decently high review score.
The industry critics as a whole have reviewed recent games unfavorably. Crackdown sits at a 60 out of 100 when it should be really closer to a 70.
Yeah, and that's according to you, Colt. Let's get that straight. That's according to you, not reviewers who don't have an agenda, primarily a pro Xbox agenda. These are reviewers who are looking at a game as objectively as possible. And it's not just one or two, it's hundreds of reviewers. And they all seem to come to the same conclusion. If you can't accept that, Oh well.
Far Cry New Dawn, which is a trimmed down Far Cry 5 with creative additions for 3/4 of the cost, is in the 70s. Anthem, one of the year's most anticipated games, is already looking like it'll be in the 60s or low 70s out of 100. Regardless of Metacritic, which is powerfully influential, consumers are trying their best to forego a Metacritic consensus and follow the advice of friends and trusted content creators' opinions.
Okay. Not exactly sure where you're going with this, but that seems fair. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing any of those things. And I don't think you think there's anything wrong with that either. Otherwise, you wouldn't have recommended people watch your review.
Metacritic's aggregate score paints a seemingly objective picture of the quality and value of games, with dozens, if not 50 plus, professional sites combining their subjective opinion of a game. These Metacritic review scores that bring a majority vote to the top of the glass hinges the compensation that talent in the game studios can earn.
Felicitations, malefactors! I am endeavoring to misappropriate the formulary for the preparation of affordable comestibles! Who will join me?
Look, I get that you write a script, and it sounds really pretty, but you're talking to gamers. Nobody talks like that. Hinges on the compensation? Like, what the fuck? Just talk to people like they're normal. You don't have to pretend to seem like you're smart, because you're not. It's a little small nitpick of mine. It doesn't really ruin the overall video because it's already ruined to begin with. Just pointing it out.
Regardless of such an abysmal review aggregate for Crackdown 3 on the Xbox One, and regardless of releasing right next to Metro Exodus, Jump Force, and Far Cry New Dawn, Crackdown 3 was the most played on the Xbox, even being celebrated as the most played new full-price game on the Xbox One. The full-price designation to separate the massively popular free-to-play Fortnite and the brand new Apex Legends.
And let me guess, because it's doing well on the Xbox, that suddenly means those review scores don't mean jack shit. Well, newsflash, Colt. There are plenty of bad games that sell well. There are plenty of franchises that have gone to shit, and people have seen them decline and go to shit, and still bought them at release. This is a non-point. It doesn't magically override review scores and suddenly make them wrong. No Man's Sky sold like hotcakes. One of the most played games at launch. Guess what? The reviews were horrendous for the game.
Here's where Microsoft has poised their first-party titles to thrive and succeed, even if they launch in the blast zone of games. Xbox Game Pass makes a full-price game like Crackdown 3 more accessible for frugal gamers, withholding $60 for another game like Anthem. Microsoft doesn't care if you buy Crackdown 3 outright, digitally or physically full-priced, or if you decide to play it within Xbox Game Pass.
Okay, this isn't exactly helping your point. It's actually making it worse, because if people played this game through Game Pass, it's inconsequential to them. You realize that, yes? Through Game Pass, downloading and playing a game like Crackdown 3 won't bother anyone. Why? Because they didn't drop $60 on it. And if the game sucks, oh well, they can uninstall it. All they did was pay $10 a month. It means nothing to them. It doesn't strengthen your point. It just goes to show you that there are possible reasons why that player base was so high. Could just very well be that the minute it launched, people downloaded it, played it, and that was it. I mean, in the UK alone, Crackdown 3 wasn't even 10% of Crackdown 2's sales. Crackdown 3 literally exists to sell people Game Pass subscriptions. That's what it is, and if you're bragging about that, or you seem to think that's a good thing, you're sorely mistaken, because it goes to show you that at that point, Microsoft doesn't really care about quality. And deep down inside, you know this isn't a good game. You're just shilling for it because it belongs to the Xbox brand, even though it's on the PC, but of course you won't talk about that. And earlier in the day, when I was watching your shitty-ass video with Maria, she couldn't help but notice just how poor of a quality the graphics are. Not just the graphics, but the art direction in general. She couldn't stop laughing at just how bad this game looks.
God,
Taking
this
your
looks
favorite
so
games
bad.
outside of the home
Oh,
console
boy, this
means
is-
that fanboys
this is an
need not
assault
be
on my
concerned
senses.
with a
What the
console
shit?
count of
What
40
is
million.
this?
All of this will change next generation.
This is an assault on my senses. Look at this. Look at the screen. First of all, what is this fucking damaged fucking overlay. It covers off the screen. It's bad. Secondly, look at these fucking destroyed things. Look at how glass falls. Look at how things are destroyed. Look at the amount of smoke and how it fucking works. What is this? This is literally a mobile game. The fuck? The fuck am I looking at?
For $10 a month right now, you get almost 200 Xbox 360 and Xbox One games with unlimited download and installed playtime.
Okay, am I watching a video where you explain why review scores and sales don't matter, or am I watching a giant advertisement for Xbox Game Pass?
Those who decided to give Crackdown 3 a try are finding that they love the game. The general consensus among players spending 10 to 30 hours on Crackdown 3 is that the game is not a 6, but more like an 8.
Colt, you hang around an all Xbox cast of friends. Of course they're all going to think the score should be higher. Of course they all spent at least 30 hours on the game. You guys are Xbox fanboys.
Crackdown 3 seems to have lost 10 points out of 100 just for its troubled development. But we're not here to damage control what happened to Crackdown.
Don't bullshit us, Colt. Yes, you are. Yes, you absolutely are. That's what this entire video has basically been about. You finding ways to excuse Crackdown 3 for critics penning it, and then you're inserting an Xbox Game Pass commercial that they didn't even pay you for, and that somehow overrides all the criticism and all the negative reviews against the game. Because Game Pass, if you like Crackdown 3, even though the reviews for it aren't overwhelmingly positive, that's fine. You could have made a video talking about why you like the game. But it's been nothing more than excuse after excuse after excuse and denialism. And now you seem upset that 10 points were taken away from the game because of the development issues, because there are so many fucking problems with this game. If you actually bothered to listen to those reviews instead of covering your ears and crying about it like a fanboy.
There is a second factor that misrepresents the gaming industry and the success of games, and it's sales.
And let me guess, sales don't matter anymore because Crackdown 3 had a nice player base because it was rented to a bunch of people. That's probably where you're going with this, isn't it?
Sales are often hoisted and waved by the loudest of fanboys when Metacritic or reviews is dismissed as a viable measurement of the quality of a game.
You know, that's something you used to do, but now it doesn't fit this new narrative you've created, so I don't even know why you're bothering to criticize other people for doing it when you yourself are just as guilty. It's like you don't even realize you're a fanboy. You lack all self-awareness.
Sure, some of the most popular and high quality and most enjoyable games have incredible sales figures attached to them. But free-to-play titles like Fortnite and Apex Legends have broken that measuring stick. Some of the world's most popular games in the world are free like Roblox, Dota 2, and League of Legends, or just $20 like Minecraft. Sales matter to a point, but sales should not be a point of matter for fanboys to argue that their favorite game is better than someone else's.
Yes, we get it, Colt. Crackdown 3 didn't do very good in sales. So now the sales don't matter. Yes, I know, this is the narrative you're switching to. We get it.
Unless you have your investment portfolio weighed heavily in EA, Microsoft, or Sony, sales only matter if a game performs so poorly that it doesn't justify a sequel.
It's funny you should say that because I don't actually know if you hold a stock within Microsoft or the Xbox brand, but you certainly speak like someone who does. And if you don't have an investment in them, what are you doing?
With the first-party games included day and date on Xbox Game Pass, Microsoft has removed the consumer's concern for sales. This has been a hard thing for fans to shake, since a game like Gears 5 can be dismissed as being popular since it can be played by anyone for just $10 on Game Pass. Here is where the disconnect is created. Microsoft has removed the reliance on sales figures with their hardware and their software, as long as you are buying the game or buying a residual subscription for Xbox Game Pass. Don't worry about if Microsoft is not making a profit on massive games like Gears 5 or Halo Infinite. They've run the numbers, and the irresistible draw of almost 200 games on Game Pass means that Microsoft is making millions per year, as millions of users refuse to cancel the value they enjoy from Xbox Game Pass.
Yet another free advertisement for Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass. Yes, you're promoting this on your channel. You're explaining to people how it works. Are you actually going to say something of substance? Or am I going to have to sit here as my dog stares at me ready to shoot me with laser beams again?
And with the addition of xCloud, a streaming-based service, taking your favorite games outside of the home console means that fanboys need not be concerned with a console count of 40 million.
It's just this guy can't help himself. Like, he really can't help himself. Everyone around him is a fanboy except for himself, yet he spends a good 10 minutes giving Microsoft free advertisement for Game Pass and worshipping it while damage controlling the poor quality of their first-party games. Like, you can't get any worse than this. At least I'm hoping so, but we'll see what the year brings us.
All of this will change next generation. Our perception of the word exclusive, even on PlayStation, will be washed away. It's for the better, and it will bring more people to more games.
Oh my gosh, finally, something I can agree with, Colt. Yes, thank you. I am glad we are on board with the idea of exclusives no longer being a factor. I mean, the major difference here is that this is an idea I have always supported. It's only become an idea you support and think is great ever since the Xbox started going to shit, but I'll take what I can get.
Starting next generation, Xbox Game Pass will be an integral part of the Xbox ecosystem. Traditional game purchases will always be the mainstream way to get games, but with Xbox Game Studios pushing out 4 first-party exclusives per year, Xbox Game Pass will save you half of your money that you may have spent.
Oh, okay, so then sales aren't meaningless, right?
Sony's PlayStation Now has expanded to downloadable titles and may see major changes to either emulation or a fully realized streaming service on current server technology to provide PlayStation gamers with more flexibility, access, and consumer-friendly options for the PS5. When consumers have more options and more power to play the games they most desire, the reliance on Metacritic or other aggregate review sites will diminish.
An interesting theory, but a theory nonetheless. People will still have things like disk space and a limited amount of storage. They will still want to use up that storage as efficiently as possible, and to do that, they'll only want to install good games. People will still go to reviews and look at them and see what's worth their time and what isn't. If this was the point of your entire video, this one theory, why did you do such a fucking poor job of getting to it? Why did it take you this long to hit the 10-minute mark? Oh, duh. You gotta hit that perfect 10 minutes, huh, Colt?
Review scores are part of a branch of consumer smart approach to playing these games that cost millions to make, years of hard work, and amazing talent that provides more entertainment per dollar than any other media.
So then, reviews aren't meaningless, is what you're saying, because it certainly doesn't sound like they're meaningless when you put it that way, Colt.
This whole thing watching interesting stuff we review was so fun and satisfying. I like to have a review I had about 3 times and people opinion on session. If this review will be on screen, if you enjoy this video, like and subscribe. And on Twitter, gaming, have a great week, have fun, all these games, I'll see you online in the session, and people have so please be nice.
These next few parts of the video only exist to artificially extend it to 10 minutes, so we can go ahead and just fast forward this shit, because, you know, Colt is that lazy. On top of that, he doesn't point to anything that actually proves that sales and reviews are meaningless. In fact, he just kind of reinforces the idea that they are meaningful. But we're not going to continue from here on out on his video because he says nothing of substance. Like I said, all he does is continue to blabber on so he can meet the full 10 minutes. Colteastwood is the type to change his mind, not because his mind is genuinely changed, but because it's convenient. He is quite possibly one of the most boring YouTubers I have ever had the pleasure of watching. I don't enjoy responding to Colteastwood, like I would say JTech or Crap Gamer, because Colteastwood just blabbers on and on and on and says nothing. But in that nothingness, he will insert a little bit of Xbox fanboyism. It's very convenient for him to say reviews don't matter and sales don't matter, when Crackdown 3 did poor in both those areas. His channel only exists to reassure Xbox fanboys that they bought the right box, when In reality, it doesn't actually matter what you bought, just play what you enjoy. Nobody's wrong for enjoying a different platform. You just don't have to lie about other platforms like Colteastwood does. Listen, Colt, baby doll, I know you can't avoid my existence forever because one day I'm going to surpass you. I mean, I'm on my way there. But listen, just stop with the excuse making for Xbox. Just let it go. They have not done a good job for the Xbox fanbase. They haven't. In fact, they gave up on you guys. They're giving more love to the PC community. Why on earth are you continuing to support them? Why on earth are you accepting this mediocrity? You're actively almost pretending to like a game just so that your loyalty remains visible. I don't have anything else to say to your dumbass, but there is one comment on your video and I found it to be one of the best comments. Most of the people in that comment section are shitting on you anyways, but I like this one because it's pretty productive. With that mentality, no wonder why Xbox has such mediocre games. And if you keep accepting and cherish polished turds, Microsoft will keep making polished turds. Sincerely, a PC and PlayStation gamer. Yikes. And I think this would be the perfect time to close the video. See, unlike Colt, I actually require more than 10 minutes instead of having to pretend that I have more to say. Hell, I have to constrain myself. I could be here and make this a 50-minute long video if I really rant at you, but I'm holding back. Colt, quit being a dumbass. And until then, I'll be seeing all of you guys and your gorgeous sexy faces, that is if Charlie doesn't kill me tonight, very soon.
Fritanga sucks ass.